Hey everybody on YouTube, this is Kyle Snyder once again, aka Clipton, doing yet another top 10 list. As you all know, the Super Bowl is right around the corner, and to celebrate I thought I'd do a top 10 list relating to the Super Bowl. This time I'm going to do top 10 head coaches who won the Super Bowl. And to make this list, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is win at least one Super Bowl to qualify on this list. And having multiple Super Bowl wins may also play as a factor. You know, the legacy of the Super Bowl victory is another factor as well. But anyways, here's my top 10 list of head coaches who won the Super Bowl. Number 10, Dick Vermeil. He was the head coach of the 1999 St. Louis Rams, also known as the greatest show on turf. He was one of the most inspirational head coaches of all times, and pretty much Dick Vermeil couldn't have asked for a better team to lead to the Super Bowl. I mean, he had a lot of great players on offense, you know, Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, Marshall Faulk, you know, just to name quite a few. And then to top it all off, you know, they had a great defense as well. I mean, Mike Jones making a game-saving tackle 1 yard shy of Kevin Dyson making the game-tying touchdown. So Dick Vermeil barely made this list because of that tackle. Anyways, number 9, Tom Coughlin. The oldest head coach to win the Super Bowl. He won it twice with the New York Giants, both times with Eli Manning as the quarterback, both times against the dreaded New England Patriots. And really, it couldn't be, he couldn't be left off this list. I mean, he had to have made it. I mean, if not for being the oldest head coach to win it, then for beating the New England Patriots twice when Bill Belichick and Tom Brady came knocking them down. You know, they were arguably the strongest favorite to win the Super Bowl. Those 2 years the Giants won it, so Tom Coughlin barely made this list. Number 8, Hank Stram. He was the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. He was, you know, before the start of the merger, you know, back when the AFL and the NFL were still separate entities. This, you know, he won Super Bowl IV with Len Dawson and quite a few other Hall of Fame Kansas City Chiefs. And in my opinion, Hank Stram deserved to be on this list because he was quite the character. I mean, if you heard him when he was mic'd up, I mean, yeah, he sounded like an actor in Hollywood, but, you know, he had quite a mouth, you know, not foul language, but, you know, smart talk and all that. Hank Stram definitely deserved to be on this list. You know, if not for the legendary Chiefs that he led to the Super Bowl, then, you know, for his character. Anyways, number 7, Bill Parcells. No matter where Bill Parcells went, he made his team great. You know, whether it be for the New York Giants or the Dallas Cowboys or the New England Patriots, you know, he had a way to making his team click. And such was the case with the New York Giants, you know, that he led in 1986 and 1990. I mean, Bill Parcells, you know, he had a Hall of Fame career as a head coach. You know, he managed to solidify his Hall of Fame status with 2 Super Bowl victories, you know, and his legacy is arguably one of the greatest as far as coaching is concerned. Anyways, number 6, Chuck Noll, the first head coach to win 4 Super Bowls. Yep, way before Bill Belichick. You know, and he did so with the steel curtain of the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s. You know, Terry Bradshaw, Frenchie Fuqua, Franco Harris, Lynn Swann. You know, the list goes on of the Pittsburgh Steelers players who were coached under Chuck Noll. I mean, yeah, in the 70s, Chuck Noll was quite the head coach. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers of the 70s were a team to be feared, no doubt. But they weren't the only team in the 70s to be feared. Which brings up number 5, John Madden. Arguably the winningest coach of the 70s. John Madden led the Oakland Raiders to 1 Super Bowl victory in the 70s and multiple trips to the AFC Championship as well in that decade. I mean, he had the biggest winning percentage by any head coach in a single decade, and his legacy was enough for even a football game franchise to be named after him. The NFL Madden series, of course, my favorite football game of all time is ESPN NFL 2K5, because that game isn't as glitched out as all the Madden games, but nonetheless, John Madden's legacy lives on to this day. Number 4, Don Shula. He is the only head coach in NFL history to lead a perfect team to the Super Bowl and win it. Yeah, the 1972 Miami Dolphins did not lose a single game, and after that season, they went back to the Super Bowl in 73 to win yet another Super Bowl. And Don Shula has more victories in the regular season than any head coach in the history of the NFL. I mean, there's still no head coach who has been able to come anywhere close to Don Shula's record of most victories throughout the regular season of his career. Anyways, up next, number 3, Bill Walsh. He was the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers during the 80s. He led a lot of great players in the Niners, namely Joe Montana and Roger Craig and Jerry Rice and, a whole bunch of others. I mean, I pretty much did a top 10 49ers list, and yeah, a lot of the players I named who also played in the 80s. Bill Walsh also made my list of top 10 49ers. I mean, yeah, a lot of top 10 lists for team players don't include head coaches, but for me, I do include head coaches, and Bill Walsh was good enough to make it high on that list too. And obviously, Bill Walsh was known for innovating the West Coast offense style for the Niners, and the last game he ever coached as Niners head coach, he came out on top, winning Super Bowl 23 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Anyways, number 2, Bill Belichick. We all know about Bill Belichick. He's arguably one of the most unorthodox coaches in the NFL. But you know what? He gets results. I mean, he and Tom Brady have been to the Super Bowl more times than any other head coach or quarterback. I mean, this Sunday, they are going to be playing in their 7th Super Bowl. That is a record for any head coach or any quarterback. And if Bill Belichick wins the Super Bowl against the Atlanta Falcons, he's also going to set the NFL record for most Super Bowl victories by a head coach with 5. So, is he going to make history? Only time will tell. So if Bill Belichick isn't number 1 on this list, who is? Well, you've probably figured it out by now. Number 1 on this list is none other than the name of the Super Bowl trophy, the person who it's named after, Vince Lombardi. Vince Lombardi won the first 2 Super Bowls in the history of the NFL. The Green Bay Packers of the 60s, he was the head coach for. He is arguably the most legendary head coach in the history of the NFL. And who knows, if another head coach won the Super Bowl first, the Vince Lombardi trophy would be named something else completely. But Vince Lombardi, because of his victories of the first 2 Super Bowls, you couldn't have asked for a better name to name the Super Bowl trophy after than Vince Lombardi. So that's my top 10 list for head coaches who won the Super Bowl. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoy Super Bowl 51, the New England Patriots versus the Atlanta Falcons.